Just one of the scenes from the huge winter storm hitting Newfoundland and Labrador. Homes in St. John's Battery neighborhood were buried in an avalanche. This house took the worst of it, with the snow streaming inside. About a dozen homes had to be evacuated. There were, though, no reports of injuries. St. John's and other Newfoundland communities are still under states of emergency. The storm is expected to ease off later today. For a closer look, we're joined by Rhonda Kenney. Now, she's a director of the Red Cross in Newfoundland, and we've reached her at her home in Paradise and getting a few gusts of breeze there. Listen, thanks for joining us.
That's right.
I'm sure you
You're
must
welcome.
be busy. What have the last 24 hours been like for you?
Yes, so certainly, the last 24 hours, super blizzard conditions, ones that we have never experienced before in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Most people are really they've hunkered down and stayed in their place of residence until the blizzard passed. And it looks like we're over the worst now in terms of the weather, but now it's basically down to the cleanup.
The cleanup and presumably some challenges for you. What is your organization doing to help?
Yeah, so certainly leading up to the storm, the Canadian Red Cross was very much involved in working with government, working with municipalities, really promoting the importance of individual and family and community preparedness. So encouraging people to ensure that they had, adequate food stocks, water supply, that they were prepared in the event that they had to be in their homes for 72 hours. So the importance of preparedness education was first and foremost on our mind, in addition to, as a response organization, ensuring that our volunteers were notified, our stocks and systems were ready in the event that we would be called upon to respond.
A lot of people presumably heeding that warning, but are there others who may be isolated or elderly who weren't able to do that and might need your help in the coming hours?
Yeah, so certainly the Canadian Red Cross right now, as I mentioned earlier, people are really, staying home, but it's really important that, you check upon your neighbors if it's safe to do so. There's certainly vulnerable people within our communities, within our neighborhoods. So, we do encourage people to make sure their neighbors are okay and to support them if required.
You've described, as many have been, a tremendous amount of snow. Even if the storm does let up and even as then people start to come out, we're talking about difficulty walking around, certainly no driving for a while. What are you anticipating in terms of challenges in the next, say, 12 to 24 hours?
Yeah, so right now the declared state of emergency is still in effect. We're listening to the officials and ensuring that people stay off the roads. I think most people are really going to be taking care of their own households right now, ensuring that their own properties are safe and that they're accessible. And once those declared states of emergency get lifted, then, things will certainly change. But right now it's very much, stay put and clean up.
So far, knock on wood, we haven't heard any stories of injuries or people in significant medical distress. What does that say? Does that mean that people have listened to the warnings and have stayed indoors and haven't chosen to go out under any circumstances?
Yeah, I certainly think that, with the messaging that was leading up to this storm, a lot of people really took note and were prepared and really stayed inside. No doubt there was, the emergency response officials did attend to emergencies, but for the most part, people really stayed at home and took care of themselves and certainly took care of their families.
What is your advice? As you say, the state of emergency is still in effect, but at some point that gets lifted. What is your advice to people?
Yeah, so what we need people to do now is stay home, is take care of yourself, take care of your family, make sure that, your basic needs are attended to, the basic needs such as food and water, check on your neighbors, stay safe, stay warm.
I notice you're pretty much by, is that a big picture window you got behind you? What's the scene?
No, actually, I'm in my garage, and my garage door is open. So just wanted to kind of give you a bit of a visual about what it looks like, outside. And certainly in my home community of Paradise, it's still quite blustery. Yeah, there's a lot of cleanup that's going to need to happen in the next, 24, 48 hours.
It's paradise, but it's not a tropical paradise, is it, Rhonda?
No, I still think it is, though, because I like winter.
Well, you're in the right business in the right place today. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Rhonda. All the
Okay.
best to you and your community, and best of luck as people start to dig out there. Really appreciate it.